Thank you for joining us on CBA News in Brief. My name is Wangui Ngugi. Somaliland's 4th Media Summit kicked off today in Hargeisa. The annual summit is organized jointly by the Ministry of Information and the Association of Somaliland Journalists. The two-day conference brought together journalists from all over the country, 30 media houses and government officials. It features panel discussions, presentations and speeches by various stakeholders. The second day will also feature the announcement of AUKE Media Awards, which has 9 different categories. The first day of the conference was attended by the Minister of Information, the Secretary General of Wardani Party, and the Information Secretary of UID Party. The Secretary of Information of UID Party, Mr. Yusuf Kaise, accused the government of unprecedented suppression of free media. He stated that this government has incarcerated more journalists in the last 2 years, more than the former government of Dahir Riale Kahin. The Secretary General of Wardani Party, Kadar Hussein, acknowledged that the nation's journalists operate under hard conditions. He lamented journalists' limited access to information and poor capacity. Kadar Hussein also urged media to self-regulate and warned them of the dire consequences of government's attempts to the securitization of their issues. He implored them to urge that drive and nab it in the bud. In another subject, he called on the Minister of Information to apologize for threatening media with permanent closure. Minister Mohamed Musa Dirie has earlier this year vowed that he will permanently shut down media houses. The Minister of Information, Mohamed Musa Dirie, abstained from responding to the criticism leveled against his government and person. The conference will continue for 2 days and will culminate in awards bestowed to winners of 9 categories. The Prime Minister of the Federal Government of Somalia, Hassan Ali Kaire, has on Saturday afternoon visited flood-affected Badale district in Bay region to assess the situation of the people affected by floods. The Prime Minister was photographed walking in the flood water together with other officials. He assured the people affected by the floods that the government is committed to supporting them. The Prime Minister also extended his gratitude to the people of Somalia and to aid agencies who came out to offer assistance to the flood victims. At least 6,000 families have been displaced in Badale in southern Somalia's Bay region after flash floods caused by torrential rain hit the town. President of the southwestern state of Somalia, Abdi Aziz Hassan Mohamed, better known as Lafta Garin, briefed the Prime Minister on the progress and situation of the environment in general. The President also gave thanks to the governments of Djibouti, Qatar, Turkey, and to aid agencies for their role of helping the flood victims in the southwest state. Somalia's former President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud and his predecessor Sheikh Sharif Ahmed were allegedly briefly barred from traveling to Beledweyn to deliver humanitarian supplies to people affected by floods. The two, together with a delegation of members of parliament from the newly formed Forum for National Party, were said to have been stranded at Aden Ade Airport in Mogadishu on Sunday morning, but were later allowed to board the plane. The reasons as to why they were briefly blocked from traveling is not yet clear. Their visit to Beledweyn coincided with that of Prime Minister Hassan Kaire, who had also traveled to Beledweyn. It is speculated that the move to bar the opposition group was aimed at stopping a likely scenario where the two sides would meet in the flood-stricken town. However, the former leaders safely arrived in Beledweyn, where they were received with a warm welcome. A similar incident happened late on September when President Sheikh Sharif Ahmed was blocked from traveling to Kismayo to attend the inauguration of Jubaland leader Ahmed Madobe. Reports from Gaalkacayo region indicate that the commander of Ahlu Sunnah wal Jamaa in Gurial town has defected to the Somalia federal government forces. Ahlu Sunnah's commander Abdul Dahil Roble Ade said that after a long meeting and through discussions with the 15th Battalion Commander General Masudud Mohammed Wasame, they agreed to join the government forces and will be part of the federal government of Somalia. The meeting between the 15th Battalion Commander of the 21st Division Forces and Commander Abdul Dahir Roble was also attended by Mohammed Ahmed Antobo, who is the former governor of the Hordan district of Banadir region. The commander of the Ahlu Sunnah wal Jama, in charge of Guriel town, arrived in Dhuusamareeb last night, which is the capital of Galmudug state, where he was received by government officials. So far, there have been no reports from the Ahlu Sunnah leadership about the actions of the commander Abdullahi Dahil Roble Ade. Harakat al-Shabaab at Mujahideen says its fighters on Friday launched an attack on a Kenyan military base in southern Somalia. Al-Shabaab, a jihadist group that controls swaths of the Somalia countryside, claimed responsibility for the attack, saying that they launched rocket-propelled grenades towards the camp and killed several Kenyan soldiers. An army base run by the Kenya Defense Forces in Kokani area near Afmadow town was struck by an ambush assault from the different directions, with reports that heavy gunfire and explosions could be heard. Al-Shabaab-affiliated media has reported. Kenya's Ministry of Defense has not commented on the latest attack on the KDF base that is outside the Afmadow district in Lower Juba region, which its control falls under the Jubaland state of Somalia. If confirmed, this will be the first time that the Al-Shabaab fighters have attacked a Kenyan military base in Somalia this year. Supporters of ex-Al-Shabaab leader Mukhtar Robo renewed their call for his release. Several supporters of the former Al-Shabaab spokesman gathered in Mogadishu on Friday to condemn his house detention. Carrying placards written, "We need justice," his supporters condemned his arrest and accused the government of intimidations and harassment. Mukhtar Robo was arrested in November 2018 and has been in detention ever since. The call for his release comes just a year ahead of the 2020-2021 elections. In October last year, he had announced that he would run for president of Somalia's southwest region, a move that was strongly opposed by the federal government. Robo's announcement set off an intense debate about the prospects of an ex-jihadist gaining a leadership position through democratic elections. The federal government, backed by the Ethiopian military forces, ultimately blocked him from participating and eventually detained him. The ultimate decision to detain him has been criticized, and this call for his release subjects President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo to pressure, given the escalating political undertones in the country ahead of the 2020-2021 polls. If he is released, Robo may contest once again for the Southwest State presidential seat. Well, that's the end of CBN News in Brief. Join Abdullahi Hassan later with more undetailed news. Have a great time.